It's hard to sell the basics because the basics aren't sexy. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today, but a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like down below, be greatly appreciated. If you're not following or subscribed, please do so, and if you will be kind enough to drop me a comment down below, I would greatly appreciate that also. Let's get over to the topic. All right, the basics. And here's the problem, guys. I've been saying this a long time. I made this same statement like 12 years ago, got ridiculous numbers of views back then. YouTube was smaller. But the same thing applies today. You have so many people who are trying to push the newest nonsense or whatever they come up with, that they are ignoring the basics that have worked for decades and generations, that have produced the strongest physiques, the most impressive lifters, basic time-proven exercises over and over and over. And I mean, we really need to go no further than thinking about back movements and programming. Okay, go back and look at historically. You see people right now, they'll make all these tiered videos. Oh, this is the best back exercise. These tweaks will give you better back development. And yet they don't have back development of any of the people who they're trying to replace their stuff from. And I mean, even before the gear got crazy, right? You go all the way back to the bronze era, the silver era of bodybuilding. Those people had better backs than these guys promoting this nonsense. And the same thing, guys. I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm a power lifter. And yet everyone's like, you got a great back. Yeah, what three movements really built my back? Deadlift, weighted pull-ups, barbell rows. Okay? Step back and go look at all these guys and then look at the tiers. So these guys will make a whole tier list of 15 different back exercises. Jesus, how do you come up with 15 lat and back and mid-back exercises? How do you even come up with 15? How much are you just sitting around coming up with random stuff? I get it when we're doing conjugate training and we're rotating bars and bands and chains because we want 37 different lifts to max on so that we don't hit the same one. But we're talking hypertrophy movements here, guys. They'll come up with 12 different types of rows, 7 different types of lat pull downs. You have to be kidding me. And then you look at their tiers and you're like, well, the first tier, the best stuff, they're always like, oh, this is the best stuff, the best 5 exercises. Half the time it will not actually include the movements that have built the greatest backs in history. Okay, this is a problem. When people really and truly think that they have some knowledge or information to where they're going to come up with, well, I believe if you do this one arm pull here and you do this at this angle, it is going to beat the exercises that built literally the greatest backs throughout history. All right? And it's not like they have some great knowledge, but you look at the data and stuff they're citing, they don't exactly have knowledge and information, because I read these same studies. It would say, hey, oh, this is clearly absolutely better. No, they've got some hypotheses they test. It sometimes works out in their favor. A lot of it's bias. Exercise science has issues when it comes to muscle growth. But, you know, they'll do this and it's like, but then you go look who had the best backs. You just go look at all these pro bodybuilders and Mr. Olympias. In fact, you go look at even something like triceps, you'd be shocked of what they did. But you look at the backs, you look at the lats, the mid back, the upper back. What exercises did you see? How many Mr. Olympias had amazing deadlifts? And most of these guys would be like, oh, the deadlift's terrible for the back, it doesn't work. Really? Yet all these Mr. Olympias had super strong deadlifts and they deadlifted regularly. I'll name 3 guys you heard of. Ronnie Coleman, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Franco Columbu. Actually, Jay Cutler at one time even started doing really heavy deadlifts, 600-pound deadlifts. He realized, I probably need these to win. Trying to compete with Ronnie, I actually probably need these. Okay? Great backs. But then you look at the other 2, weighted pull-ups, heavy barbell rows. Every single guy almost who is known for their back on the Olympia stage, going all the way back to the 70s, they were really, really good at one or both of those movements. Just go back and look at their training, look at what they promoted. Okay? Weighted pull-ups, barbell rows. How many of these same guys will say, oh, you know, the barbell row is not that good? But you know why they have to say that? Because God forbid people actually get strong at barbell rows and pull-ups, they won't need their information anymore. They will not need their trash dumpster information once they master those basics, because you're going to have a huge back. If you get really good at weighted pull-ups, barbell rows, and deadlifts, you are going to have a really insanely good back. Even if you don't do anything else, and I like pullovers and that stuff. I sometimes do one-arm dumbbell rows. Okay. But they'll argue this stuff. But then you go look at what the best of the best did, and it's like, same thing, they'll have all these different, well, I'll do this or that with curls, and it's like, but then you go look. Go think of some of the greatest biceps throughout history. What do you see a lot of? Strict bar curls, like just straight bar curls, whether they're strict, whether they're cheating. Some of these guys from those eras where they had better biceps than some of the more modern guys, go look at what they're doing. Go look at Minzer, look at Arnold. Dude, they're doing straight bar curls. Or some of the earlier guys, Steve Reeves. Okay, you go look at Bill Pearl. Incline curls, straight bar curls. Yet they had phenomenal biceps. And they were not using nearly as many drugs as the guys who claim natural today. Go look at all their tricep stuff. They didn't need 37 different tricep movements. They weren't trying to find all these different things. They simply made sure they did stuff to work the lateral head. So you saw a lot of benching, closed grip benching, dips. Dips helped with the long head too. But a lot of them did pullover type movements where they did behind the head tricep stuff. Okay? And no, they didn't need cables. All right, you go look, but then a lot of them were really, really big on pullovers, which is something I'm trying to push more myself because I've realized that. Ridiculously good for the long head of the tricep. But no, really, go look at how some of these guys did this, and you're like, man, some of them, like, their mainstays were, weighted dips, pullovers, and then sometimes some behind the head barbell extensions, just standing, straight up standing or seated. And they'd have massive triceps. Again, how do you sell that? What are you going to do? I mean, if someone really wants massive triceps and they go do those three things, you can't sell them anything else. Oh my God, once they figure out a basic progressive pattern, how are you going to sell them all your new 37 different movements? How are you going to make videos? Here's the 17 different tricep exercises or lat exercises. You can't, right? These guys are scared of the basics because the basics aren't sexy. And then what are they going to do? Oh man, people are going to figure this out. The only other thing they need is individual coaching, because coaching is really about fatigue management and accountability. I get that, dude. People are like, why do these guys hire you? How come you got these guys to get these crazy results? You'll see the testimonials, you'll do interviews with them. And they're like, why are they hiring you? If they already know, some of them are even personal trainers. Literally fatigue management and accountability. I keep them accountable and I keep them from getting hurt, and I make sure that they know where their fatigue limits are because they're bad at judging it themselves. They need accountability. That's a big part of it. But that's falling back under basics, because that's really what coaching is. We don't need a bunch of special exercises. I can take most of these guys and give them 9 or 10 exercises and just progressively overload them over time. They'll get great results. Okay? Basics work. But again, we come back over to it's hard to sell the basics because the basics aren't sexy.